a lot easier for all of us to come up after a game like today. Easier on me, easier on you to talk about us and write about us, and we played well. We brought a lot of energy, and I kind of piggybacked what we said our thought of the day was going to be on Friday, and that was fight the right way and have that, allow you to have that determined presence on both sides of the ball, and we had that. I thought early on Malik kind of set the tone with his aggressive play, especially offensively when he made 2 or 3 baskets, and Jeremy was smart aggressive when he attacked to the rim, and we were productive with it. Good, solid, well-deserved team victory against a very good team, against a team that was tied for first in the conference and is very, very talented and skilled. 18-5 coming in, and we did what we thought we could do: fight, win together at home. Our crowd helped us. We were not full. We need to get our students all that compliment back out. I'm scheduled to go out next week, and I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going someplace on Monday to kind of see if I can help raise the flag on that point. But the people who were here were great. They were loud, they were engaged and energetic and helpful. Trey over 1,000 was a nice milestone for him. He made some really thoughtful plays, especially on attacking, pivoting, scoring inside against their guards, and he did what he knew he could do in a real thoughtful manner. So happy and proud of what we've done.
Steve, is there there's no one in this league that probably is surprised that you could win this game at home with the talent that you have, despite kind of the inconsistency. But did this game, beyond just a win, did you gain a little swagger? I mean, there were open court blocks, and there's Dakari on the floor forcing a turnover on the sideline, and Shrigley had a big minute and a half there where he made a defensive play. And you could just rattle off all those highlights up and down your roster. Did you gain more than just a win today, potentially?
Well put. I would hope that we would. And we talked about this on Friday, about all good teams have it. They have that look and feel like we're good and we are going to play well. Not I hope I play well. And as Trey said, sometimes when you lose 5 out of 6 tough games, do you really have it? And we talked about that, and it's important. And I'm hopeful that a game like this will, what you say, be a catapult for that feeling about who we are individually and collectively. So we'll see. We're gonna go to Utah State, to Logan, for a game on Wednesday, and they're good, and they are especially good at home. So we'll be tested again with no crowd for us. But today, I think what you said is well put. We said, you're nothing easy on my watch. And Zylan ran one ball down. It looked like it was going to be a guaranteed dunk, and he just willed himself to saying, you're not going to get an easy basket on us. And you do what you do and do it better than anybody and feel good about yourself.
Coach, on Friday you talked about Trey his milestone, 1,000 points in 35 seconds. Obviously that didn't happen. Because even though, and he admitted he didn't really know about his 1,000 points today, but he was even though this was his big game, he was selfless. He was passing the ball, sharing the ball around. Talk about his character. Like, what makes him so special? Like, even though it's his big game, he's still sharing the ball.
Trey is a really, really good player and a great teammate. And I know he's proud of the fact that he cracked the 1,000-point barrier. That makes him feel good. But I think he would have been embarrassed had we stopped the game and presented him with the ball. He wanted to win more than anything else. And that's what attracted him to me and us to him. He's a winner. And that's what he saw in San Diego State, and we were a good fit, a good marriage for one another. And he gets tired of me talking about how smart he is, but he's a smart player, and he's a very proud player. So we need more of that and then some from him as we move forward.
I mean, you had a bunch of guys on Marshall, but he was on Marshall for a while. What did he do, and what did you collectively do against him? He's one of the leading scorers of the college, is 1 of 10.
Well, we said you have to crowd them. You have to make them feel you. We wanted to switch any ball screens that they were involved with. But when they just got the ball and tried to size you up and take a couple of dribbles, that's when they're going to shoot it. Marshall and Finn are both. So we said, crowd them. Don't let them get around you off the bounce, but crowd them. And I thought we did that, he did that, others did that. I think right now Marshall has been in a bit of a shooting slump, but he can play. Either the leading or second leading scorer in the conference. He's a volume shooter, and he can make hard threes. I've seen it firsthand. So we did a pretty good job of making him take hard threes, and fortunately for us, not a lot of them went in.
Trey just said that one of the advantages of having Val start is that they can get up on their defenders and not really worry about if they get beat because they still got to deal with Val inside. Was that part of the idea in starting him, is to give you that luxury of if you want to crowd them, you really can because Val started and he's back there?
That's one of the reasons. I think Val brings value in a variety of ways. He can move his feet. We started him on Caroline. And any ball screen involving Caroline, we wanted to double team it. We call it hot. But he can keep a guy in front of him. When Caroline tried to one-on-one him, he did a pretty good job of just moving his feet and sizing him up. And he can rebound the ball. He's a big presence in there, not just blocking shots, but he can get some balls or keep two people from getting balls at the other end.
Coach, you guys outscored Nevada 38 to 24 points in the paint. Was that something you guys talked about before the game to pound the ball more in the post today?
Not really. We told them to be smart, aggressive. Know who you are. We shot 35 threes in the last game. Too many. Jeremy was 6 for 12. Max Hosel was 5 for 9. I said, if you can do that, shoot 20. But if you can't, just move the ball a little bit. And we had some timely threes today. I thought Matt Shrigley had 2 big threes for us in a portion of the game where it was pivotal to keep the lead when they were creeping back a little bit. Malik brings that to us also. He's got the size to be able to back you in, shoot over you. But, as we said, Trey drove. Dakari's improved more than anybody in his ability to put the ball to the floor, get it to the rim, and be on balance when he does that. And when you're athletic, you become a hard guard when you can do that intelligently. So, but we didn't say you have to throw it inside. We just said you have to be a smart player and know the flow of the game.
You let your starters go longer, particularly in the first half tonight, than you have maybe all season. I think you only had 1 sub in the first 7 minutes. Was there something behind that?
The staff, when I said, what do you think, they said, maybe one. I don't know who we subbed first, but they said leave them in. Let them stay. They don't look tired. And we told them, if you don't have a focus and a competitive fight about you, whether it's 30 seconds in or 30 minutes in, we're going to sub you. So if you want to play, all of you, play hard. Compete. And I thought we did that, and we had a decent flow going. And, I don't know whether at times we've subbed just to sub. I try not to do that. But you can't, Dakari played all 20 minutes in the first half and probably should have come out. And I asked him at one time out, do you need a minute or two? And he said, no, this timeout is all I need. So you got to rely a little bit on your eye, but also a feel, and then, you know, at one time, Malik said, I'm going to need a break. And Matt Shrigley said, I'm going to need a break in about 30 seconds. So they know if they ask to come out, they can ask to go back in, and we'll put them back in fairly quickly after that.
Hey, Coach, KELL said the ref came up to him, one of the referees in game, and said, quote, wow, you guys came to play today, end quote. What's your reaction to that? And did you think the same thing? Like, wow, my guys came to play today.
Well, I'm not going to say wow, but I'm proud of what we did. And when I talked to Ted Leitner before the game for the pregame show, he asked, what's the status of the injury list? And I said, we're going to have all hands on deck. We're having everybody available. The only guy I'm worried about is Max Hostel, because he's only had one practice where we didn't go hard, but he's going to play. Everybody else, I'm not worried, are they okay? And that's such an advantage for us when we have that. And we had it today. We had the availability of all of them. Malik didn't play in the first game at their place. He's a good player. He brings something to the table that's hard to deal with. And that being said, you have to play. You have to play and compete, and we did that. We did that at both the offensive end and the defensive end, and if we do that, we're going to have a chance, and I said that before. With 5 games in, I said we could be 50-50, and that's what we've been, or we could run the table, and I would say that again. We got 6 games left, we could be 3-3, or we could run the table. So we'll see. But it felt good today for everybody, from players to coaches to parents to wives and kids to fans. It was fun.
Sometimes when a team is hunting for confidence or that swagger that you talked about, there's a moment that you see, and I wondered if you instead heard a moment today, that Xylem block you talked about in the open court. It sounded like somebody hitting a volleyball in a volleyball game. It felt like a really, and then he turned to the student section and kind of got the volume raised over there a little bit. Did you hear that play as much as you saw it, and was that one of those kind of moments?
I did, and again, Xylan likes the wow play. He likes to make those wow plays, and he does it pretty effectively at times. Sometimes he tries to do it when he doesn't need to do it. But yes, I would say that's an asset he brings. Like none other guys we got. He can fly in from midcourt and windmill dunk it over 2 people and get everybody excited. And we need him to bring that type of positive energy and make those kinds of plays and then be consistent on all the other stuff. So, but that's the point well taken. I would say yes, that energized everybody when he did that.
Coach, do you think this was a statement win? I mean, you're at 500 now in Mountain West play, 6-6. Do you think this is a statement win, fresh start for you guys?
This is a win that gets us to 6-6. This is a win that says we can get ourselves out of the playing game. This was a good win for us. You know, I watch the talking heads now when they talk about the tournament with relaxation, because I know we're going to have to win 3 in Vegas, or 4 in Vegas to make the tournament. But I feel good about what we did today. And now our challenge for all of us is to do it again, and be determined to do it again. And that's what we're all looking forward to, going to Logan and see if we will and can. I'm sure our fans are too. So we'll see.
Coach, could you talk about holding Marcus Marshall for 1 for 10 shooting? He was able to score 20 points a game. Can you talk about that?
I thought we did, but I'll talk again. Marshall's a terrific player. He can really score the ball. I think I like him as a player. And I like their team as kids. Some of those guys I really do like. He can play. He's struggling with his shot right now. So we did a good job. Our goal was don't give them an inordinate number of easy baskets, which is Caroline flying in there and laying one in off an offensive rebound, and Oliver tip dunking one in. They're going to make, Oliver's going to take some threes, and he might make a hard one. Don't hang your head or put your hands up. Keep playing. And we did a nice job. I mean, Marshall, we said you have to guard Marshall. He shoots more threes than anybody on their team and makes more. So you have to guard him. And he will take and make hard threes, and when he makes them, it's like he's made 1.5 baskets when he makes one. It really is for him and their team and their group.
Yes, Malik, could you kind of talk about the start of the game? Obviously, it was a big game heading into today, but then for you, it seemed like they were just feeding you the ball themselves pretty often. Did you kind of feel like you were getting yourself into a rhythm to start things off?
Honestly, I was just following Coach Fisher's advice and just playing lower. I think that's really all it had to do with me. I usually play really high and I don't get unbalanced shots, so I think that summed it up on how I started today.
So just spotting up more?
Yeah, and just playing lower, being ready to shoot, concentrating.
Trey, even though this was your 1,000-point game, and congratulations on getting that.
Thank
by
you.
the way. You still, it reminds me on Friday during the press conference, Coach Fisher kind of joked that it would happen within the first 35 seconds of the first half, but it didn't. You actually took a while, and that's not a bad thing because you kept sharing the ball. Even though this was your big game, you still shared the ball. So can you talk about that kind of unselfishness, that selflessness?
Yeah, I didn't know about it until someone brought it up to me a couple of days ago. But I didn't come into the game thinking about it, to be honest. I just knew we were playing a really good Nevada team. And the main thing that motivated me was just I remember the first time I went 1 for 12. And I remember every shot I took. And I can remember that game like it was yesterday. So that was the main motivation for me to just go out there and play my game and try to produce.
Malik, what did you think about that, even though this was Trey's big game, that selflessness of sharing the ball, even though he was so close to getting 1,000 points?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching every point, and I congratulate him. That's a big achievement. So, congratulations.
Thanks, my dog.
You guys, been talking about how you play well in spurts this year, but you haven't been able to put together a full game.
Yeah.
You feel like that's what happened today, and you finally just said enough is enough?
For sure. The funny thing was, right before I shoot my free throw, one of the refs came up to me and he's like, "Wow, you guys decided to come to play today, huh?" I was like, we had to eventually, right? So today was that day. We came out in the first half. We played good offensively and defensively. Second half, we had a couple spurts where we're a little lackadaisical on the defensive end, but for 40 minutes, I feel like we played pretty hard and pretty well.
The big thing this year is just you guys gain a big lead and then it just kind of goes away.
Yeah.
Possession after possession, maybe through the second half or something. You guys had a couple turnovers during that point. You mentioned like the spurts. Could you feel it in your head, like, oh, it might be going their way now, the momentum shifting? Or do you kind of use the past experiences you've had going those games as momentum to kind of close it out?
Being a third year for both of us, you kind of learn to be calm in those situations because the game can turn around. But, we all just huddled up together and was like, take it easy, slow down, don't rush. So that's really what it came down to. We couldn't let them speed us up. They started to play aggressive. Things weren't going their way, basically. So we picked that out and moved forward with that.
What was the playing on Marshall and
Don't let him get an open shot.
Yeah, both really good players. Oliver has some tough shots. Marshall can do the same thing. So it's one of those things we feel like you don't go into a game saying we're going to shut them down. Our main objective is just make sure there's a body in front of them at all times and contest all their shots and I felt like we did a good job of that today.
Trey, why did it come together for so many guys in so many ways today?
Good question. I couldn't tell you. I felt like we're playing a little more unselfish than the past games. I feel like we're moving the ball pretty well. We were getting open looks, and then it just goes down to what Coach Fish and all the coaches were saying about the past games. When we lose, just you have to go out there and produce. Malik got to his spots and was making shots. Me and Jeremy were making shots, so it's just one of those things. We got to our spots and we're producing today. And when we do that, we're a hard team to beat.
Malik, you talked about slowing it down. It didn't seem like you guys slowed down. Is that what you like, rather just get the ball and get down there, especially when you're on a roll like today, or would you rather slow it down?
Nah, there's a time for everything. It was getting a little late in the game where they start to be aggressive, so that's usually the time where you got to slow down and run some clock and play smart. So I prefer to get up and down. That's like I love that style of play, but at that moment, that's what we had to do. So.
Do you guys think this was a statement win? I mean, you no longer have a losing record in the Mountain West. You're 6-6. You're at 500. Now, is this kind of like a fresh? Was this a statement win because now it's a fresh start for you guys?
I wouldn't say that because, like you said, even though it was a good win for us, we're still 6-6, and they're still. I don't know if they are still at the top or one of the top teams.
Close to the top.
Yep. So either way, it doesn't really. I mean, obviously they come into the game wanting to win, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really affect them. They're still at the top. We're still in the middle of the pack, so we're chasing them still.
And Nevada was they came out pretty quickly. I noticed they were very fast moving the ball and getting down court. And that opening three, it looked like you guys weren't going to be fast enough to combat their quickness. But what did you guys do to combat that and take the lead?
Just one of those things. Adrenaline. First couple minutes of the game, everything goes a little faster. So it's just one of those things. After a couple minutes, you're like, all right, we can relax. Just play our defensive assignments like we're supposed to, and just contest. They made a couple hard shots in the beginning. They got some fouls that we didn't really agree with, but we can't change that after the fact. So it's just play through it and just stick to our principles.
Good.
Okay, watching this game, this year it's kind of been inconsistent in the building with the atmosphere and the crowd, your guys' defensive, offensive flow. Today felt like an Aztec game from years past and your guys' past couple of years. Did it feel like that to you guys on the court there? Did it feel different than it felt in other games this year?
Personally, we just focused on winning the game. I mean, I did look in the stands. It was a nice environment. You're right. I mean, honestly, I enjoyed it. To the fans that did come, thank you. So, it was fun to me. How about you, Big Dog?
To be honest, I wouldn't say it felt a lot different. I mean, obviously there was times when we went on runs and the crowd got really loud, so we appreciate that for sure. And we love when that happens and when the crowd supports us like that. But I feel like they do a good job where if we're struggling or they notice we need a little bit of a boost, they'll try to give us that boost with their energy. So I feel like they did that tonight, and we fed off it.
How do you guys keep that going now? I mean, you've had a couple wins, and then you lose a couple, and then you have a nice win like this, and obviously the Mountain West tournament's getting closer, and you want to avoid playing on Wednesday. So how do you keep it going this time?
Day by day?
Yeah, day by day, practice by practice, game by game, just staying consistent. Don't look too far ahead. Don't be satisfied with one win. It's just one of those things, when we go to practice, we got to focus on that specific game plan for the next team. And if we can do that, then win game by game, then it'll start to, give us momentum towards conference tournament time.
Val started tonight. How does that change your rotation? How does it change you guys as a team?
Speaking for me as a guard, it's just one of those things where you don't really worry about someone blowing past you per se, because they have to deal with Val. I've seen plenty of games where someone blows by us, and we kind of just wait for the ball to come to us because Val's going to swat it. So Val gives us that inside presence. It's hard to finish over him. He's a big man. He blocks a lot of shots, so that gives us that luxury back there.
Forget about me. We're in there adjusting shots, too.
He was asking about Valentine.
But when you put him in the starting lineup, what does that do right off the bat? I mean, he can come off the bench and doing that, but it changes the whole rotation, doesn't it?
I don't think so. I feel like Z and Valentine, they both bring different dynamics, and they both play about the same minutes. So it's either, Z starts and Valentine comes off the bench, or, Valentine starts, Z comes off the bench, vice versa. I don't know if I said that already, but, it's just one of those things. We're used to it. It doesn't really change a lot if one starts over the other.
Curry's not here, but could you kind of talk about his mindset heading into a game like tonight, where obviously he's matching up with one of the league's top scorers, and just your thoughts on how he played? It says he played 40 minutes. He had only 2 fouls, so that's probably why.
Yeah, Kari, he does everything for us. He's a leader, one of the leaders of our team, our best defender. He goes out there, he played 40 minutes tonight and guarded their best player majority of the game.
I thought you said you was our best defender.
Who?
You.
Can't say that to them. But no, Carr does everything for us, and he's important for us. So, he did a great job tonight, and we expect that from Carr.
Trey, I asked you on Friday how injuries have affected you and the team. So you guys had your full complement of players tonight. Did that play a big role in this win and how well you guys played?
To be honest, I'm not completely sure. I mean, obviously it helps having all of them out there. Bringing Max back, a great shooter, gives us a lot of energy. Having Malik healthy and Z healthy at the same time can just bring a lot of different dynamics to our team. So having our full team is for sure what we want, but I can't sit here and say that that's the reason why we played so much better.